So welcome to another 30-minute mixed media for Wise Old Owl. I'm using again the Cadence sprays in a different method again. I'm actually going totally outside the box. So what you see at the moment is I'm doing a bit of sketching with a charcoal pencil. It's a Monte Mart charcoal pencil. It's a medium softness, and as you see it's half a face. So what I'm doing is working out where the main features are going to go and adding a bit of shading at the moment. And while I'm doing that, I'm also thinking on where the project may go. So what I ended up thinking was to use a stencil and add some flowers underneath the actual face, or half face. So I'm just adding some white using my finger through a stencil that had been quartered that I purchased from the Reject Shop in Tasmania, and that's another discount store that we have here. Now the canvas that I'm using this on is again an upcycled canvas. It was previously painted with acrylic paint in, by the looks of it, some blues, greens and possibly some white. I'm not sure because it was a while ago and I just put it away and found it in my stash when I was contemplating what I was going to do as a bonus for Wise Old Owl this month. So I'm just going to continue using this. I love this particular flower, so I'm just adding that, but I'll add a couple of others just to add a little bit of difference. And I'm not overly fussy if it bleeds underneath as the process, because as I know, as the process develops it will change and grow as I continue with the project. So I dare say you wonder, okay, so where's the sprays going to come in? Well, that's a surprise. We will just keep on watching and see where this journey takes us. So I'll just continue adding these flowers with the white. This is the thick Dimension Montmart titanium white paint I'm using here, and because it has that creamy thick consistency, it actually allows me to do this type of stencil work with my finger, as it has a lovely creamy consistency. If it was a looser or more runny acrylic paint, it wouldn't work this way. You'd have to dab or use a facial sponge to actually add it through this method. So one, I'm saving a brush and some other tools, but yes, I get messy in the meantime. So I've just cut out most of that drying time frame, and now I'm going to add my other acrylics. This is a skin tone in one of the acrylic paints I've used previously, and it's mixing with the white, and that's fine. As you know from previous projects, if you've seen others of my films, I go with the flow basically, and that's how I'm again going with this. So I've just laid those foundations. I'm just going to reshape the shadowing and layout of the actual face, bottom half, and now I'm actually using the Cadence spray, mixing it with some of the white paint, and I'm adding the lip tone in the beginning. So I'm actually using that to add some dimension and build up some lip shaping, and hopefully that will work. Now I'm not adding any paint to the actual lid here. I'm actually dipping the brush into the little droplets of the spray that's actually in this lid. So I'm adding some depth of colour randomly with that particular little method, and I thought it worked really well. And now I'll grab my archival pen I use, the Uniball black, fine, and this will add the more permanent lining of the face and the lips and with the chin and the neck. And I'm blending as well, because as I've said before, this particular pen is not waterproof until you actually seal it or let it dry naturally. So I thought, while I had it out, I'm going to go around the edging of these flowers and actually highlight those with this particular fine archival pen. I actually find this quite relaxing. It's almost like doodling, but you have a little bit of guidance with it, but it adds a nice new effect to the actual page. If you notice, it's actually deepening the edging of the flowers and making them more obvious. So I'll just draw around those, and I'm really loving at the moment how it's going. As I'm redoing this voiceover, I'm really enjoying watching the process that I went through and remembering how I felt and how rewarding it was to actually do this project. And I'm not sure if I actually had a timer on, but I'm pretty sure I had it off to the side, and I know from the actual video it only probably took about 18 to 20 minutes, this particular one. So I've sped it up at the moment to 4 times. In the beginning, up to the drying first of the stenciling, it was at 2 speed. So it's sped up for your process so you can actually see what I'm doing. If you'd like to see a little bit more detail on how I actually do my faces and etc., I follow some of the guidelines that are created by a lot of the mixed media artists that particularly do facial mixed media, and they are in my list where I follow on my YouTube channel. So now I decided to add some of the blue to add to her hair by adding it to using the actual pump hose and running at the top and adding some water to get down, and then I'm using it like a pen to add some to go on the outside of the face there. So now, because of the fact it got down the bottom, this is where I started playing a little bit more with these inks, and over the top of that white acrylic paint, I'm actually adding colours and adding moments in the flowers, and I'm really loving the different range of colours this is bringing up in the bottom. So I'll dry this off and I'll be back in a sec. So all finished drying. So again, I'm going to get my black charcoal pencil out, and I'm adding a little bit more shading to my lady's face here, and I just keep blending, and I'll add a bit of shading in amongst the flowers as well. Now I'm loving just the effect. It's an unusual look, and I'm really glad that I actually played with this way. Yes, I probably, I love this type of work, and I found I've been wanting to do something different for a while when it comes to the ladies I've done in the past. So I thought this was appropriate, and so I've actually added some wording in here, and I think it says my shadow. And while it's not me, because I definitely do not have those lovely voluptuous lips like that, but it's came from me, it's part of who I am, so I found it rather a suitable wording there. So I've just got some of one of my fine Posca pens, and I've just done about a border which also made it pop, and I'm adding a few dots here and there and scribbled in the corners, and the ink will activate where it is. So now I'm actually going to start doing a bit of doodling, and I doodle around her face and just doodle around the flowers a little. So I hope you enjoyed a different take on a canvas and a different take on a different way of using the inks as I've done, and I'll just add my dots, and this is me for another canvas. Thank you. Toodaloo.